Recently, I saw an image that hit me right in the chest. A Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu purple belt, but it wasn't pristine. It was frayed, battered, faded, with threads hanging on for dear life, practically turning white again. The man wearing it, he's 52 years old and he's been a purple belt for nearly 20 years. A lot of people look at that and scoff. They see a lack of progress because they've bought into the myth that martial arts is just a straight line. They think if you just pay your dues and show up, you get a new piece of colored cloth every 2 years. But the simple reality is of combat sports, especially when you're navigating life, careers, families, and injuries, is that the journey is a jagged edge. That frayed belt is the ultimate truth. It's a physical, living diary of a man who absolutely refused to quit. Yes, jiu-jitsu is a lifetime endeavor, and yes, we absolutely must keep the standards high. But there has to be reason within our philosophy. If we hold a 52-year-old warrior to the impossible physical standard of a 22-year-old world champion, we aren't protecting the integrity of the art. We're just being gatekeepers. In my own current assessment, navigating this journey as a purple belt, the real standard is simply this. Are you the best purple belt version, the best brown belt version, or the best black belt version of yourself that you possibly can be? If the answer is yes, then it's time to move up, accept that new, heavy responsibility, and continue to grow. You don't evaluate that readiness with some rigid, formal test. You evaluate it by getting on the mats, simply rolling, and you feel the rhythm of their breathing, their timing, and their techniques. You watch how often they show up to class. You feel their control when the pressure is suffocating. You see if they can maintain that calm, immovable mind, that fudoshin, when everything goes wrong. But here is the brutal truth about what happens when you finally do get that promotion. You're going to feel like a fraud. Imposter syndrome hits you like a freight train. You get that new rank and suddenly you are violently shoved outside of your comfort zone. The target on your back is massive. You have to grow into the belt, which forces you to grow as a person. And right when you think you've got it all figured out, right when you feel invincible, you experience the same extreme heartbreak that happens at every single level. Your balloon gets inflated and then it gets violently popped. You think no one can touch you, and then a hungry, highly skilled blue belt walks in and taps you out over and over. It sucks. It's soul crushing, but it's entirely necessary. It forces you to strengthen your resolve, reset with that beginner's mind, and choose to study harder. And then you realize in those moments that the belts mean absolutely everything and nothing at the same time. They don't represent a static level of invincibility. They represent a new version of yourself. Think of your progression like climbing a ladder. At the start, you are carrying a light load, so you take those steps fast. But as you climb, the load gets heavier, and you will be climbing this ladder until the day you die. As that load increases, your technical adjustments slow down so much that you can't even perceive them. You feel like you are sprinting on a hamster wheel, running until your lungs burn, but making zero forward progress. But you are progressing. And then one day, a trusted friend on the mats looks at you and tells you how much sharper your game has gotten. The veil lifts and you realize, I am getting better. And this entire crucible brings us to a crucial lesson, the very heartbeat of the Niten Method. As my friend, Professor Jason says, we joined Jiu-Jitsu thinking we are going to learn how to break others, but Jiu-Jitsu breaks us. And once we've been broken and built back up, we learn how to build others up. We step onto the mat under the heavy barbell, seeking physical dominance. But the process is a mirror that shatters the ego. Every time you take a loss on the mats, your pottery is broken. Every time you are tapped out, swept, or absolutely crushed, by a superior technique, your ego shatters on the floor, and you have a choice. When those pieces are scattered, leave them there and walk away, or choose to build them back with gold. You take that loss, you analyze it, and you rebuild that specific technique until the very thing that broke you becomes your most dangerous weapon. This forced destruction is the only way to forge true humility, resilience, and mental iron. And that reveals the final step, the master's duty. The purpose of surviving the fire, of becoming resilient and repaired with gold, is not to hoard that strength for yourself. Once you have survived the breaking, your focus must shift outward. You use the strength forged in your own pain to pull up your training partners. You use it to guide the lower belts. You use it to show your kids, the next generation, how to piece themselves back together when the mat or life breaks them down. We break to grow, we rebuild to stay, and we lead so that others don't have to walk the darkness alone. And that is the journey. And I'll see you on the mats.